Hey everybody, welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. I'm Libby, and this is a podcast all about knitting and making and anything else that, making really, things I'm making. I'm a knitwear designer based down here in New Zealand. The sun is wanting to shine out behind the clouds today, but it's a bit grey. So it's kind of warm, kind of grey. I'm just waiting for a few people to hop on. I do this podcast every Thursday. It's live. I love to hear from you, so pop your comments in the chat. I can see people come in. Oh, let me find the comments. Here we go. Pop your comments in the chat. I'm streaming into YouTube and Facebook at the same time, so I can see you make comments from YouTube pretty easily. Facebook, I think you have to click a button so I can see it's you. So if you're on Facebook and you don't want to click the button, that's absolutely fine. But if you want me to know who you are, you could just leave your name at the end of your comment and then I'll know it's you. My earrings popped undone. Anyway, how are you all? It's nice to see you. I wasn't here last week, was I? Was I here? No, I wasn't. It was school holidays. Morning, Libby. Shiver, says Robin. Where are you, Robin? It's freezing. I'm actually, I'm moderately warm today, but I have my Saorise top on. This is one of my favourite tops with the half sleeve, the elbow sleeve. I really must do more tops with this sleeve because I love it. I really love it. All right, here you all come. Hey, Libby, grey over in Northcote. I think you've got the same weather as me, Lynn. It's quite grey, but it's not so cold, is it, Lynn? It's a little cold. It sort of goes up and down a bit. Hey, from Sydney, nice to see you. So far, I'm seeing all the Facebookers, not the Facebookers, the YouTubers leaving comments. All right. I wasn't here last week. It was school holidays. I've been doing a bit of making and busy while I was away, and I've got a couple of things to show you, and I'll tell you what they are in a second. Hey Tamsin, nice to see you. Oh, it's warm and sunny in Napier, like a little microcosm down there. Good. Maureen said, my core is cold even after a hot shower, long wool socks and a wool beanie. I dislike being cold. Yeah, I'm not a fan of being cold either, Maureen. A hot shower and you're still cold, and warm wool socks. Hot cup of tea. Go internal. Hot cup of tea inside. Hi, Libby. Very cold and windy down south. I'm not sure who that is. Hi, Libby. It's Beck. I can see Beck there. All right. So I haven't got any knitting to show you. I contemplated showing you one of my favorite knitting books that I've had out recently. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll do that in a little bit. I'll show you a bunch of knitting books. I've got a nice pile down there that I've been, they're full of sticky note, those sticky things, because I've got so many pages in there that I want to commit to memory and I just don't seem to be able to. So I've put sticky notes in them and bookmarks and things, but I'll come back to that another day. But what I thought I would show you today is I have been spinning. I haven't actually got any actual spinning to show you. I've been continuing to spin. I'm spinning one of Lynn's watching. I'm spinning one of Lynn's silk merinos, and it was started off really well, and then I got a bit, I don't know, it just all got a bit tight. I think I might have mucked up the tension on my spinning wheel. I might have needed to loosen up the braid a little bit more, and it was just not working for me. So I decided to chain ply it. And I was doing that, and one lot worked out okay, and the other lot was it was like overspun on overspun. So what I did was I actually put it back on my wheel and spun it the other way. And so it unspun some of it. And I've done that with the single that I'm yet to chain ply. I just unspun it a little bit because it seemed too tight by just spinning my wheel the other way and throwing it through really fast. And it sort of helped, I think. But I also had a bash at sort of unspinning the yarn, and that actually unspun the yarn. So it's a shame to be experimenting on such beautiful fibre because it's a silk merino. It's this gorgeous wine colour. But I think at the end of the day, I will have some that is usable. We'll see how it turns out. I'll show you when I've actually finished it. But I've just been on and off my needle, my wheel, having a bash at that. Hi, Christine. Nice to see you. Oh, it's cold and wet in Wirral, UK. Is it? We're all having the same sort of weather then. Hi from Gloucestershire in England. Very wet here tonight. Ruth. Is that Ruth? Ruth. Another Ruth in England. Do you know, it's funny actually, my daughter has been with her grandmother, one of her grandmothers. She's really, really interested in her, her genealogy. She's really interested in a way that more than I've ever been. But she's interested in all the stories and all the people and where they all came from. And she said to me, do you know, Mum, so many people on both sides of our family, mine and my husband's family, came from Gloucestershire. I'm starting to worry that there are so many from Gloucestershire that we might all be related. So, yeah, apparently we're all from Gloucestershire. Wet Melbourne. Yeah, my Scotch tension got loosened. I think that's what happened, Lynn. I think something's gone on with my tension. Now I think about it, I looked after my niece the other day, and it's quite likely that she could have twisted, pushed something on my spinning wheel needle. I'm thinking like Sleeping Beauty, but also that I've just stuffed it up somehow. It wasn't pulling out of your hand strong enough. No, it was going in too slow, I think, and it was spinning too fast. So I think I had it on the wrong. I think I had it on the small whirl, which made it go fast, but then it was going in slowly. So it was like those two things needed to be the opposite way around almost. Anyway, I just have to keep playing at it just to get a real feel of the tension thing. Because all of a sudden it felt like a really rubbish wheel, and it's not a rubbish wheel. It's just setting it up to feel, to do what I want it to do. Oh, hi, Tamsin. It's a beautiful sunny day in Rangiora. Oh, well, I'm glad you're getting a beautiful sunny day, Tamsin. That's really nice. Hi, Helen. Amanda has joined me this morning. Oh, nice, Helen. You're watching together. Enjoy that. Helen that makes beautiful yarn. Morena, this will be Sabrina. She's running a bit late. She's putting a new organic bread mix in the bread maker. Sabrina has been so busy. I saw that you were sticking together your pattern over in Wardrobe Toolbox. We've got a new component that's come into Wardrobe Toolbox. It's just on top of everything else. It's not an alternative. What am I trying to say? It doesn't take anything away. It's just like an add-on. We have this fabulous sewing component. A lot of people wanting to do a bit of sewing, learn to sew, and so I thought, and me included, and so someone is helping us and doing this sew-alongs and sewing stuff through the next 6 months. It's going to be, it was already fantastic. And we're doing a skirt sew-along. I think I've decided what I'm going to make. I'm going to show everybody. And for the next couple of months, we're doing a skirt sew-along. And it's really great because some people have, they're just total beginners, but we've set up for everybody. So everybody can join in together, and there's no sort of set pattern. You do what you want, and then you can make it as tricky or as difficult as you want. Anyway, I see Sabrina is putting together her pattern for that, and I've got a few to choose from, and I got some fabric out, and I was thinking of Terry. I don't know if Terry's watching. I was thinking of Terry, and I was thinking Terry will be pleased because I'm going to use the fabric that I bought twice by accident. So there's a big bubble just came on my screen. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, Terry will be really pleased because I'm going to use this really blousy fabric. It's got a really dark, like charcoaly black background and these big blousy flowers, and I'm going to use that for my skirt. And I have it twice. I have 2 lots, and I thought, you know what I could actually do? I could do the skirt, and then I could do a top, and I could wear them together like a dress or separately. Anyway, I'll get as far as the skirt. Okay, Lynn said it might also have been wrapped an extra time around a fly hook. Oh, okay. So this also happens sometimes. Yeah, okay. That could have... I didn't notice that, but it could have maybe. Someone said, I'm coming back to spinning after a few years away. I never got past beginner. Look, that's me. That's me. You're me. This is exactly me. I wasn't really much past a beginner. I was pretty beginner. I did manage to knit things with my spinning, and I did stuff that I look at now and I think, actually, that was quite nice. But I wasn't an expert by any stretch of the imagination. It's been years, but I'm back in, and I'm so enjoying it. Practice is the solution. I do think it is the solution. Oh, you are here, Terry. Yes, I know. I'm going to make a skirt. I'm really looking forward to it. It needs a top to match. So obviously I have to do that as well. All right, let me tell you. I have actually done a little bit of sewing, though, because it was Mr Myrtle's birthday. And I decided I would make him something. And, he nearly fell off the chair because I have made him things in the past. Not many things. I have made him a few things, but that's actually probably an exaggeration. I think I've made him a pair of pajamas. I don't recall what else I might have made him, but He nearly fell off the chair. He was tickled pink. And then he realised that I had been secretly working at this project, and he hadn't realised it was going to be for him, and so it was really nice. Anyway, I made him a pair of shorts. I made him these linen shorts. Look, they look pretty plain, but they're pretty groovy. I've got a label in the back. It says one of a kind in the back. It was a pattern I hadn't tried before. I will do it again. I will make some slight alterations when I do it again. They're linen. I had this beautiful linen. It's quite light. I was thinking for a minute there they might be see-through, but because you see they're a little bit gauzy, but actually they're not. They look really good. They're lovely light navy linen. I bought it ages and ages ago. They're quite simple shorts. They have a nice waistband on them. I put this buttonholes in. I buggered that up actually. They're not quite centered, but I'm not actually going to put a tie through it. We've decided he's just not going to have a tie through it anyway, so we'll ignore that. They have these little inset pockets, and I did a little fancy gingham on the inside of the pockets that you can't see, and then it's got two pockets on the back, which I feel very proud of because they're actually looking pretty jolly good on the back. And it's got this great big wide waistband. That was a real pain, the way they did it. It was a real pain to do it. It was thick elastic. I'm going to have to find a source of cheaper elastic. The elastic is off the scale expensive now for this wide elastic. I cannot believe how expensive it is. So I'm going to have to find another source of elastic. I suspect one of these Jeff's Emporiums, Nick's Emporiums that we have here will be better. It might be a noise that you can hear. Nick's. Yeah, there's Nick's and Jeff's and all sorts of Emporiums. Anyway, I'll check them out for elastic. But I feel quite pleased with them. So the pattern I used, they're a good fit. I fiddled around with the sizing. I used this pattern here called, you can't really see them, but I'll show you another picture. They're called the Trig shorts. And they're from a company called I don't know how you say it, ELBE Patterns or Designs, ELB Patterns. It's Australian. And so I used those. I made them a little bit longer than that, these ones, because I just wanted them to be smart shorts. He could wear those, he could wear those out. He could wear those on Christmas Day. He could wear those to something nice, like, a nice smart thing, I thought. He likes dressing kind of smart, Mr Myrtle. So I made them a little bit longer. I will make him some shorter, though, for just casual, because I have got fabric to make him a couple more pairs. They're great. It's a great pattern. I really like it. So that's the pattern. It's pretty basic. That's it there. Trig shorts. I've written it down for you. Trig shorts, LB patterns. I think I bought them. They have sales periodically. I think I bought them in a sale. I bought a few patterns. They've got a few menswear patterns. Anyway, they have these little set-in pockets. They're quite smart. They've got quite a nice little detail on them, on the pocket, where they don't curve round. They have that little... Can you see that? It's like a little L shape in the pocket. It's quite smart. I played around with but you can make them obviously super casual. They only have one pocket on the bum, but I did two. I think they did say in the pattern do two, actually, but I did two, and they look really smart. I think I'd like to do a little inset pocket. I'm going to have a bash at that for another pair. But and they have two lengths. The reason they've got two here is because they're two different lengths, but I added a little bit of length to the bottom for these ones. But I will go back and I'm going to do the next shorter ones for the next pair. Now, I had a little bit of a jiggery pokery about sizing, because I measured him, and sort of his high hip, where you measure where the shorts kind of hang down, and he measured one measurement which was bigger than the shorts and the jeans and everything else he wears are smaller. I couldn't, so they have smaller sizes. So I thought, oh, this is a pain. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making him the size of the shorts he already had. I got some shorts he already had. They were exactly the same size as his jeans, and there was the size in the pattern. So I made those for him, and they fit nicely. There's not a heck of a lot of fullness in them. They fit well on him, but they sort of fit like this guy. They're slightly not quite as baggy as on that guy. They're sort of a slightly slimmer fit than that. And yeah, they look really, really nice, actually. So they're kind of smarter because they're not all buffy and full. But what I will do is I've got some really nice, I've got 2 more pieces of fabric for them. I've actually got 3, but I've got 2. I might steal one for myself. But I've got one which is a heavier linen, and I'm going to do the next size up. I'll do 1 size up. He's actually technically 2 sizes up. I'll do 1 size up and slightly shorter, and I'll make those just a little more casual with the linen. It's a thicker linen. It's a bit more, relaxed sort of look. And then depending on the fit of that, I've got another bit of fabric which is like a light denim, and I've got some cording, and I thought I'd go maybe 1 size up. I'll just see how that next size goes and what he thinks about that. Anyway, I'm quite pleased with it because now I've got the pattern I traced it in the end. I took it to the copy shop. I got them to make me a big A0. I just find that's because of the cost of trying to print off my printer and the paper and all the time, and I find it more effective for me. I don't actually know if it's cheaper, but I do find it much better for me just to go to the copy shop. I give them my stick. They print me an A0, which has got the whole pattern on it, 1 sheet. And so I just traced it. And years ago, I have got various things I trace with. You can use baking paper or just, not greaseproof paper. Like those non-baking paper, the cheaper one, like you make for lunch paper. I've also got some yellow draftsman's paper that I picked up at an art shop years ago. That's really big rolls of that. I don't know what it costs now. And some very fabulously generous person gave me a couple of rolls of Swedish tracing paper years ago. And so I've got that, and I've used that very sparingly. But what I did was I got the A0 because I know my son I want to make some for my son, or at least, you know what? I actually want to teach him how to make his own when he's home at Christmas. That's one of my things. I really want him to have a bash at making his own shorts. So anyway, I knew I had various sizes, so I traced them. And rather than cut out the pattern, I traced the pattern. And so I'm going to go back and trace the next size, and I'll just mark them for different sizes for different things. So I feel quite pleased with it. And now I've got that, and I've done, you make them once. So essentially, I made my toile, right, on the nice linen. But I've made the toile, and now I can just go back, and they really didn't take long. I just made them in an afternoon. They don't take long. That was from start to finish. It just took me an afternoon. They weren't hugely time consuming, so that's quite good. And I think if you have stash fabric, obviously it's going to be cheaper because you won't have to go and buy the fabric. But you can, I think, hunt around for fabric. They don't take a lot. I saw someone, was it you, Lynn, just asked how much fabric did they take. And now I can't entirely remember. It's between 1 meter and 1.5 meters, depending on the width of the fabric you've got. So they weren't crazy. Now, if you can get a piece of linen now, somewhere like Spotlight, if you can get linen for like $25 a meter, it's going to cost you between $25 and $35 for fabric. But it's the elastic. The elastic is off the charts expensive. So I'm going to go and find different elastic at one of these other places. And if you've got thread, of course, you can reuse thread. So and you could make them with, cottons. You don't have to use linen or anything like that. You could use either what you've got, or you could find a cheaper. Cotton linens are cheaper, and just wait for sales and ask people. And if people have fabric that op shops, definitely recut stuff out of op shop. I really enjoy all that stuff, and I think that there's always a place for it, but particularly now there's a place for it. Okay, let's have a little look what you're saying. Someone's kind. Yeah, I like making all the things. I actually sewed. I learnt to knit when I was about 6, but through my teenage years, I did a tiny bit of sewing. I did a tiny bit of knitting. I did a little bit more when I was at university, but actually I sewed. That's what I did. I sewed and I sewed. I even had a little business making little pajamas. I've told you that before. That's how I paid for quite a bit of my degree with my little business, and I would make boxer shorts and pajama sets and scrunchies with all my leftovers. My mother was my backer. She bought my fabric, and I used to make I spend the summer holidays just sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing, and then I'd sell them. in the markets at university, and to all the students and things. They were good. People used to buy them for 21st presents, but you couldn't buy stuff like that in the shops back then. I mean, this was the 90s. You couldn't buy stuff like that. So that was quite good. So I've always sewed. I used to make a lot of sew clothes. I was actually quite a good sewer. I actually have some stuff. I don't have anything left now. I do actually have a couple of things, but I've made some really lovely things. So I did a lot of sewing. It is just practice. All of it is just practice, but I haven't done a lot of sewing in the last few years. I've been a bit slack actually, but I've done a heap of knitting obviously, and then I've learned spinning later. And crochet, sort of on and off. I'm not that great. I'm not very, very good crocheter. I'm okay. Back in the 80s, I made my husband cotton lycra briefs. Budget was tight, so making was more cost effective. He said they were the most comfortable he'd ever worn. Sabrina, yeah, my mum used to make all our knickers when we were kids. I have got a pattern. I think it's Megan Nelson. I think that's who it is. I'm pretty sure it is her. I'm pretty sure she's got a free knicker pattern on her website. I think go and have a look, and I think she has Megan Nelson Designs. She's Australian sewing pattern designer, and I've got a pair of knicker patterns here. And I think it's free for her, that pattern, and you can muck around, and of course you can cut some off the knickers you've already got that you like. Oh, cool, thanks, Tamsin. Yeah, they look good. Yes, the price of everything has skyrocketed. It has, the price of everything, especially down here. I don't know if it's different around the world, but you know, our dollar is always, our dollar is not great against the US dollar right now. So for those of you in the US who want to buy my yarn, it's a really good time to do it. But also bringing stuff in, you know, we need to get more stuff made here. I think it would be better. How much fabric do they take? Yes, I've said that. I think that I bought about, I'd say anywhere between a meter and a half, depending on the size of your man. And because Mr Myrtle, he's a tall guy, but he's quite a fit guy. He does a lot of wood chopping and stuff around here. So he was in the smaller half of the patterns. There's a really big range of sizes, and he was definitely way down in the smaller half, because he's got skinny bum and skinny legs. So yeah, so I think I'm somewhere between a meter and a half. If you make shorter ones in linen, just remember linen scrunches up when it's worn, as I found out for the ones I made for myself. That's true actually, and you get all those bunching. And I think this guy here has linen ones on, and you can see how they get those scrunches up when you sit down. Yeah, that's true. I won't make them too much shorter. I think the very short ones would look good on a younger guy, but I suspect the older guys, Mr Myrtle is in this age range now, and so I suspect they're better with just a little more length, or we're getting back into those kind of, you know, stubbies territory. For those of you in New Zealand, you remember stubbies. I actually am quite a fan of stubbies, but you know, I think we won't put that. I won't do that to him. Spotlight and Manukau have a sale on at the moment, and plain linen is 30% off. That Spotlight, yeah, they do. That's true. Spotlight is 30% off. That's a really good price. Is it just Manukau? I think it's all Spotlights, but hopefully. Do you know of a good women's pants pattern? I have a few women's pants patterns. I was just actually saying to Mr Myrtle, I would be quite keen to have a bash at some with a fly, but flies are kind of tricky, and getting a fit right. So I'm not, I just need to rebuild my sewing confidence again before I tackle that. And I found, because I said to him, things I've made for myself that I've liked the most in the last 15 or so years have been ones with a side fly, and I found those have fitted me really well. Now I have put on quite a bit of weight since I've made those. My shape has just totally changed. So I don't know if I would still think that, because I was quite a little person before. But I did have a Colette pattern, and I can't remember what they were called, and they were trousers, and they were sort of like those 60s pencil trousers. I love those. I used to love the fit of those. They're reasonably high-waisted. They've got a invisible zip up the side, and they slim fit through the legs. And I've made those several times, and I don't have any of them anymore. They don't fit me. But they always fitted really well. Colette patterns. But I think you just have to have a hunt round. I also know that closet core patterns, they've got a sale on right now, I think. Closet Core, I'm sure I got an email this morning. Closet Core, they do some fabulous patterns, and I'm pretty sure they have a pants sale, or a sale right now, and they have classes, online classes that you can follow along. So that might be something to look at too. I do love sewing. Backstreet Bargains in Hamilton, here in New Zealand, have many reasonably priced fabrics which can be ordered online. I didn't know that. They also have threads interfacing, etc. Oh, thanks, Sabrina. Backstreet Bargains. Okay, you can. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I always found sewing toys easier than making clothes when I was younger. I used to sew clothes for my toys. That's how I started. When I was about 12, I made a little Steiner doll. My mum taught me just a little one like that. She was called Jessica. I've still got her. And so she taught me and my friend Emma how to make Steiner dolls. And Emma's was called Leah and mine was called Jessica. And we used to make our dolls' clothes, a lot of clothes. And so I was still playing with dolls and making dolls' clothes and putting my doll in the back of my bike until I think I was nearly 14, 13, nearly 14. We loved that game. We absolutely loved that game. We didn't tell anybody that we played it. It was completely secret because it was an embarrassing admission. And we loved it. And we used to have houses. We made all these houses in the bush, and we used to ride our old Rally 20s. She had a cruiser. I had a Rally 20. Mine was called the Old Banger. And we used to ride around with our dolls on the back of our bikes playing these imaginary games for years and years and years. And we used to make a lot of dolls' clothes. And so that's how I started. And I remember getting really cross because I had to make things look as nice on the inside as I did on the outside as I got into be a teenager. That was my mum used to say that. And some of my friends didn't have to do that. But it paid off in the end. Definitely... And it avoids the front dome button, which makes holes in your tops. Oh, so this is the side zip on the trousers. Do you know the other thing that I think would also be worth having a play with? Because if we go back to some of those vintage ideas for sewing, the other one is, of course, those skirts and trousers that buttoned up on the side. And so they have those overlapping sides with the buttons. I remember making a pair of shorts for myself. That was a pair of shorts I must have made quite a few times when I was young, probably 14, 15, I'd say, where you had buttons, a double button. And so it overlapped on the side and then it created a pocket. Do you remember those? I think those would be quite good to try again, because I feel like they'd be quite forgiving and for a newer sewer, but also for you, because I think you can move the button, which would actually be jolly helpful at the moment. Do I have an overlocker? I do have an overlocker, Susan, and I didn't use it at all. I need to rethread it, and I have an old overlocker. I bought it when I was at university. I got it second hand. It's an old Janome. I think it's a Janome overlocker. And it probably needs a service, But I haven't used it for ages. I have to thread it. I hate threading it. I absolutely hate threading it. And I know I just need to sit down and do it. But I do love the overlocker. It is great. I have used it a lot. I don't have a lot of different coloured threads to put in the overlocker. But I have heard that if you use grey, that works for most things. I think that's right. So I don't know. If you have any overlocker tips, you can give them to me. I have also got an industrial sewing machine that my mother-in-law gave me. Well, actually, I paid her a little bit for it because it wasn't hers. It belonged to someone else. But she got it for me, and it's sitting there, and I haven't made any time to work out how to use it. But it's sitting there, and I really want to figure out how to use that. My grandmother had an industrial sewing machine. I have had a lot of sewers in my family. My dad's family, I think I've told you before, the Jewish boys that escaped out of Poland, that ended up coming into New Zealand, they were all tailors. They had a fashion. My grandfather had a fashion factory. He died very young. He was only 40 when he died, and but he and his brother did. And so there's a lot of. And that had come through the family, through the men in that family. They were tailors. And actually, Mum just reminded me the other day that, this is my dad's side, but my mum reminded me the other day that It's all written down, this family history. And the story is that I think it was Nathan, might have been Nathan or Adolphus. I can't remember the name of the guy. One of my grandfathers, great grandfathers, could pick the quality of a fabric from 30 paces or something. They really had keen eye for fabric and sewing and all of those things. So anyway, long story. My grandmother, who was not related to them, actually had an industrial sewing machine, and she used to do a lot of sewing. So I have that, and I want to learn to use it, and I will. It's just one of those things. I need to retire so I can do all the things that I want to do. French seams are fabulous, Maureen. French seams are fabulous. I don't do them. What I did for this was I did a faux overlocking stitch. On my machine, I went to number 46. Sometimes I'll just do a zigzag, but I wanted to do it a little bit nice of Mr Myrtle. You can't see it, actually. You can't see it against the blue so well. But I went to a stitch on my machine, and I did like an overlocking stitch. You can't really see it on the thing, but it was like a, thing. It took a freaking heap of cotton. I'm not sure I'll bother with it again, but I could have just done French seams. I didn't even think about that. I needed those suckers made, so I just got on with it. Elastic is also forgiving. You're right. Elastic is also forgiving. I do like a bit of elastic. In fact, the skirt I'm going to make for this sew along that we're having in Wardrobe Toolbox is going to have elastic at the back. That's what I've decided. I felt like a comfy elastic at the back. Good luck with the rethreading, says Susan. I've got a 30-year-old Janome, and it took me half an hour to get the thread into one hole. I have a lot of patience. That's why I haven't tried. That's why I hate doing it, because it takes age. You just have to carefully go through. I know I can do it. I mean, I've done it plenty of times, but I just can't be bothered. Perfectly frankly, I can't be bothered, and I will do it though. And then of course, if you decide you're going to use lighter fabric and then a darker fabric, and you change out the thread, I know you can just knot it and pull it and all, but I've just bought a secondhand faff. Oh, nice. No, faffs are really nice, aren't they, for my 22-year-old daughter who's interested in giving sewing a go. So the Wardrobe Toolbox will be handy for her and Donna. Fantastic, Donna. That will be really good. I just I showed my daughter, the 19-year-old, the younger one, the 16-year-old, she already does a bit of sewing, and she's got exams at the moment, and she's itching for them to be over because she's been watching me do sewing and she wants to do some. But my elder daughter, the elder one, she's done a tiny bit of sewing, but she saw the shorts and she said to me, "Can you make me some?" And I said, "No, but you can make some. When you come home, you can make some for yourself. You can do that, but you may not want this pattern. You might want a pattern that's fits a woman's body, because you have a bottom, and these don't have these are not built for bottoms." She said, "I don't really have a bottom," but anyway, she can try these on. I don't think she'll want these. I think she'll want some other shape, but we will see. But it's really, really fun watching them learn. It's so fun, and good luck to her. That's really lovely. Maureen said, "I've got a Juki or a Yuki, which I love, and an overlocker I haven't unboxed yet." Let's hope it's threaded. Oh, look, Maureen, if it's a new one, maybe it'll be easier. I think those older ones, like Susan and I have got, are just killers to thread. But the new ones, I think, can be a little bit easier. But someone's saying, I change the overlocker thread as little as possible. Yeah. Lynn is saying, if you thread an overlocker and you've already threaded it, you need to change the color. You need to tie the new thread. Yes, so you tie the threads. I know that. And I've done that. And I've also done it and it's failed. And so, but yes, technically you tie the threads, you cut the threads, you tie them onto the new threads, and you just gently, you pull it all through, and it's all magic, and it just comes through and it works. And it doesn't always work for me. And so anyway, I have to go back. Anyway, that is my sewing, and I feel really pleased about it. And he is over the moon. He's so chuffed because I've made him something. And you know how they talk about the love languages of people, and how you have those 5 love languages, and he loves gifts. Mr Myrtle is the most incredible gift giver. He really is. He is a gift giver. Like, he is amazing at giving gifts. He gives me the best gifts, always. He's so thoughtful, and he puts lots of time and energy, and I feel so guilty because my gifts are usually absolutely rubbish in return for him. And I try and then I'm just not sure, and I feel so much pressure. Anyway, I thought I'm going to just make him something this time, and he loved it. Loved it that I spent the time making him something. So I think he might also be a acts of service person. Is that the other thing? He likes doing things with you, and anyway, he likes you to make him a nice meal as well. So that worked out beautifully. I'll do it again. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you, let me just read this. That was my downfall. Yeah, the knot came undone. Exactly. And I've only got black or white thread as well, Susan. But actually, for mostly, because actually with this industrial sewing machine, it actually came with a whole lot of other threads. So I'm thinking I could put some of those on my overlocker. They're in cones, So anyway, we will see. We will see. I did have a bit of... Anyway, I don't know. I'll tell you all that story another day. Okay, I had something else to show you, and this is spinning related. Now, I had clean forgotten that I had signed up to a fibre club, and I've put my fibre... Oh, it's over there. I've put my fibre over there in the corner. Can you see in the very far corner? That's fibre. That's my fibre, and it has a little bit of mohair there as well. So I have got a fair bit of fibre there, but I thought I just thought it would be nice having some that arrived in the letterbox once a month, having some fibre, and it would be a total surprise, and I wouldn't have to hunt it out, and I wouldn't have to think about it, and I would be pushed out of my comfort zone. I thought that would be fun. And I also love supporting small businesses. I really love it. So this is a New Zealand woman. I totally forgot that I signed up to it, and then I got a notice to say it was on its way, and I thought, oh, brilliant, that's excellent. So it arrived, and this is the fibre that just arrived. Now, I don't know if I would have picked this up if I'd seen it on a table. It's got some real hot pink in it. This blue is rather lovely. It's got quite a bit of it's a chocolate blue. There's quite a bit of purples in it. I may not have picked this up. You know me, I go for a lot of dingy colours, and so I may have gone for something a little more dingy. So I feel quite excited about the prospect of this, because I don't know how I'm going to spin it yet, but it's absolutely lovely. It is the cushiest, softest merino. It's a merino braid. You get different braids. I'm going to tell you who it is in a second. You get different braids every month, and they just arrive. They're actually going to arrive at my mother's because it's cheaper to send it to her place than to send it to mine because of rural delivery. But so it arrives at my mother's, and then she brings it down, or I go and pick it up. And this braid is I'm just looking forward to seeing how I do it. And I'm thinking, should I split it and do little sections of colour? I don't know how I'm going to apply it. I think I can see it being used for a little person's cardigan. That's what I'm thinking. A little person's cardigan, like someone who has a baby or a little toddler. It's 100 grams. I'll probably get a baby cardigan out of this. So I'm thinking, or I could mix it with something else and do something, together with something else. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'll show it to you hung out. It's got all this blues, really pretty blues, and then it goes into these purples. Look at that. It's got real pinks and purples mixed together. And then more blues and pinks and cream, lots of white splotted through. It's a real candy floss at the bottom with a splash of blue. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Now it's from Handmaiden Fibre Club, October. It's the October one. This is 100% merino. Handmaiden Fibre Club. It's 100 grams. And helpfully, she said, the braid undoes from this end. There we go. So the braid. So I can pull that end and it will all unravel. These are her details. Her name is Amy from Handmaiden. Oh, you might be able to hold your phone over that QR code and go straight to her website, I suspect. Handmaiden.net. Now, she is based in New Zealand. So for those of you out of New Zealand, I'm not sure if you would want to sign up to one where you have to pay international post. But for those of you in New Zealand, you might. I have actually signed up to a second one, which is Australian. So I'll show you that when it comes. I just thought it'd be really fun just to have some arriving, and then I'll just keep going. And I'll have all of this inspiration to draw from. And like I said, things arrive that I may not have chosen myself. And then they make me think, and they make me plan, and they make me do things that just a little bit adventurous. This is about as adventurous as I feel like getting right now these days. So that to me is just, it's going to be really fun. I can't tell you how soft it is. It's so cloud soft. It's beautifully puffy and beautifully soft. So it's a beautifully prepared braid. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that. Handmaiden. One day I'll come back and I'll show you what I've done with it when I've figured it out. But in the meantime, I also have all of that over there. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into some of that as well. I'll just finish the one that I'm working on at the moment. Love the colours, yeah. And sometimes it works when you tie a knot, but it's usually the hardest one. Yes, that's true. The hardest one to thread is often the one that breaks. Yeah, it's definitely broken for me before. We need to work on our colours, don't we? We'll work on our colours. We need to work on our knots. I gave my son a knot book for Christmas one year. I should have kept it for myself. She's based in Gore. But you have to roll your R's when you say Gore, don't you? Gore. Anyway. She's based in Gore in the South Island. Fantastic. So Amy Hughes from handmaiden.net. There we go. And she does a fibre club. And I think it's $30 a month. Something like that. 25 or $30 a month, which I thought was okay. I thought that was pretty good actually, to get a braid every month. And then you can spin it up. I don't remember exactly the price. That could include postage. So, yeah. That's what I thought I would show you. So that's what I had to tell you today, people. No knitting to tell you today. I will have some knitting to show you soon. In fact, next week I have a new pattern coming out. So hold on to your hats. But I have a pattern coming out. It is a wardrobe toolbox one that was released there, but it's been very popular. And I'm looking forward to showing you that one. I'm looking at the pattern. No, I'm looking at the sample over there. So I'll bring that out to you next week. So if you're looking for something to knit and you feel like something refreshing and happy to knit, join me next Thursday and I will tell you all about this new pattern. In the meantime, do heaps of knitting, do heaps of making, spinning, sewing, whatever you like, weaving. Oh, there are so many fun things. Macrame. I know that some of you even do macrame. I have got some macrame books. There is so much joy to be had in the world. It is a crazy, crazy time out there. I love it that we can just come together. We can talk about things that bring us together and really just bring it down a notch and enjoy our making. I will see you all in a week's time. Have a fabulous week and I'll catch you later. Bye, everybody. Oh, the Australian one. I'll tell you that when I get it because I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, Terry, I have got test knits coming up. I just have to finish them. It's terrible. But yes, I do. I've got a couple of garments. All right. I will see you later, everybody. Bye.